Good, beautiful morning. It's Monday, July the 11th, 2022. I want to welcome you to Shortcuts for Your Soul. This is the Monday edition of our show, and I'm just going to make a couple of changes on my devices here for us to get rolling. Today I have the energy of Hermes Trismegistus with me, and we are going to be discussing how to restore clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, and claircognizance. And we're going to get in that once I get signed in this other device so I can see your questions when they come up. Again, we have many things happening on this planet today. I'm really excited about what's coming. Just give me a moment to log in with this other device. Just give me a moment here, folks. Okay. Well, it looks like I won't have questions today. I won't be able to take any questions until I verify this. Just give me a moment. Okay. Well, let's get into this. Thank you for being so patient. We've made some changes and we got some amazing things happening with this channel and with my TikTok and YouTube. We got some wonderful people. Thank you so much for those of you that stepped forward. Olena, thank you so much for coming out and connecting this. It was a wonderful discussion, and we're looking forward to collaborating with you over the next period of time. Again, thank you everybody so much. Today I have with me the energy of Hermes Trismegistus, and just give me a moment to just tap into this. Thank you. Now, one of the fundamental things he is saying is that the challenge that humanity faces right now is we have become detached from our inner sensibilities. And he's not saying sensibility, he's saying sensibilities. These are faculties that are innate in every single human individual. At the moment of conception, these faculties were generated at the very moment of conception. These faculties are within your consciousness, not resident in the body itself, although the body can be utilized as a mechanism to perceive these functions. These functions in your common language are called clairvoyance, clairsentience, claircognizance, and clairaudience, which means clear seeing, clear hearing, clear knowing, and clear feeling. The challenge that many of you have faced with these particular abilities that you all have is in that you have been distracted your entire life by the external environment, and you've become disconnected from your internal knowing. The senses of your body are for the external world exclusively, and your internal senses are for every other connective dimensional perception. That is, you can see, you can hear, you can know, you can feel without having the physical senses as being the source of that knowing. It is within you. It is innate within you. And the process of restoring those senses requires that you learn to detach from your external connectivity and begin a process of reestablishing internal awareness, internal connectivity. This can be done fairly easy and fairly simply. But the first step is understanding that the body that you currently inhabit, and I say currently because you do not exist in but one form throughout your existence of consciousness, but that one form that you're in right now, you must learn to bring yourself away from the external world back to the internal world. Once you arrive at the internal world, by internal, I do not mean the place where your storage of information from the lifetimes you've existed on this planet reside. That is the place of memory, the place of emotion, the place of recall. That is not going to allow you to connect to these internal senses. The process of learning to still and quiet the mind, to place the body into a state of consciousness that it does not distract you anymore. Much of your discomfort collectively right now is a result of your distraction, your incessant distraction by the outside world. It makes it very difficult for you to hear your internal knowing, your internal seeing, your internal hearing, your internal feeling. And so as you disconnect from the external world and you go within, you move past the realm of thought and memory. You surrender thought and memory so that you as an awareness get detached from the distractions of the external elements of consciousness. That detachment from the external world allows you to begin a process of reawakening, redeveloping these other senses that are and always will be a part of your consciousness, whether you are in the body you're in right now or another body. These faculties are a permanent fixture of your consciousness and work across all planes of consciousness and dimensions through all timelines. The activation requires that you be willing to differentiate yourself from the personality that you've been led to believe you think you are, and restore yourself to the awareness that truly is the source of your identity. Many of you in your distraction from the world have ideas that you're connected to that cause you to suffer needlessly. But the moment you begin this process of detachment from the external world, that is not to say you disconnect or disown it, but you become detached for it long enough to bring more effective elements of creation into your expression as an individual. It can be very difficult to be functioning only on half of your capabilities, which many of you are doing right now. You are more than capable of clairvoyance. Many of you have these things happen spontaneously because the sense is there, where you just suddenly know something, or you are able to get a perception of something, or you have a feeling about something. These are things that are natural to who you are as a consciousness, as a soul, if you prefer that term soul. The ability to know without the direct apparatus of your senses telling you what you know, to see without your physical eyes telling you what it is you are seeing, to hear without your physical ears being the source of what you hear, and to feel without the sensations of the body being the source of what you feel. Many of you had these experiences where you know someone will call you, or you have a feeling that something is going to occur, or you have a vision in your mind. And the only thing that makes it difficult for you to know that this is happening is your attachment to the external world exclusively as the only source of your life. The world of your body is not the source of your life. It is merely one facet of your experience of life. And if you're able to make that distinction in your consciousness, you will begin to find a level of freedom and peace and calm that is your natural state of being when you recognize the nature that you actually move between two worlds, the visible and the invisible, both of which can be seen in these different modalities, both of which can be heard in these different modalities. You are no longer operating as half an individual, incomplete by way of distraction of one or the other. For if you were strictly located onto the internal world, only reposed inside, then you would be disconnected from the outside, and you would be of very little use in this world because you'd be so entrenched in this world of the invisible. And while both the visible and invisible are interlinked together, the two must be one in order for you to function effectively in this physical dimension. To function effectively in this physical dimension. The process of restoration begins with a methodology that has been around for many tens of thousands of years, over many civilizations. Only in the last 100 years have you seen it begun a process of resurrection in your collective unconsciousness, this process that you now label as meditation. Some called it divination. Others call it receiving inspiration and guidance. But the term meditation will be sufficient. You may consider the term meditation a process of going within, being able to differentiate your consciousness from being exclusively aligned to one plane of consciousness or another, the external or the internal, when the two are meant to be one. You know, that ancient symbol you call the yin and the yang is an example of how the ancient ones understood this process, that the inner and the outer must be united in a beautiful balanced whole, and that you as the awareness are the one that is designed to be the point upon which the internal and the external balance, that they balance on either side of your awareness, that you may be aware of both the internal and the external world simultaneously. But first you must cultivate or recultivate that divine alignment between what is external and what is internal. You must restore yourself to that position. But in order to know you have that position, you must become aware that there are these two elements of the internal. Not the internal world of thought and memory and emotion, which is a portion of your experience in the lifetime you currently exist in. Your memory and your emotion, much of which is just bound by the lifetime you've lived individually in this world. The internal world of these wonderful senses is separate and distinct from that in their function, but united with them in the application of the information received through them. So that both worlds work much the same way as a wave upon the water, or as what you would call a rhythm. The inner, the outer, the inner are designed to be a beautiful dance that you coordinate as a soul, as a consciousness, as an awareness. You can coordinate. As you learn to get disentangled from the thoughts that you have in your mind, and recognize that the thoughts in your mind are not the nature of who you are, but information that you've garnered and gathered from this physical dimension, you can make a choice that that information is just information. That thought, that memory, that emotion is from the experience that I'm having in this physical body, or the experiences of another physical body. And that I am separate and distinct from these, but interact through them. And that I have these other faculties that allow me to move my awareness to different planes of experience. I can move my awareness to different points of time and space across many dimensions on this inner realm. The realm of experience does not necessarily require memory when you are in a consciousness state of knowing, which comes from understanding both the inner and the outer, the external and the internal, recognizing the distinction between personality, awareness, and consciousness. As you come to understand and glean that information and experience of it, you can make different choices in your life, creatively and intelligently. You will find yourself not so easily distracted by the external world, and you will not find yourself so overridden by it. Many of you find the overwhelming condition of the external world and the information that it contains overwhelming, not because it is overwhelming, but because you are so captured by it, you are disconnected from one half of yourself. Always governed by what the external world is saying or communicating or doing, while being disconnected from the very source of information that's available to you on the internal realm that would allow you to be very different in this physical expression, no longer subjective to the external world. You did not come here to be subjective to the external world. You came here to be creative within it. Every single soul came to experience the experience of being physical, of being mental, of being emotional, of being spiritual, but not to be surrendered to one or the other, not to be lost in one or the other, but to experience each one and let that experience evolve you and elevate your consciousness up patiently, peacefully. If you can learn to but shut your mind down for a little while, to turn the thoughts into a place of silence, you can do this. For some of you, it will be more difficult because you're so lost in thought, lost in the world. But all of you can return to this place between the inner and the outer, this place where you are sitting in quiet observation of thought, of memory, of emotion, and recognize that these are thoughts, these are memories, these are emotions that I observe, that you observe. And the moment you're aware that you can observe your thoughts and observe your memories and observe your emotions, you are not they. They are something you are now observing. And this is the first step. Observation. To begin to realize that you are the observer of thoughts, the observer of emotions, the observer of memories. They are not you. They are that which you observe, that you've acquired for that body to function the way it does in this condition of time and space and material experience. As you lose your subjectivity and realize, oh, these emotions and these thoughts I'm aware of, but I am not them. And in that place of awareness, you will find a peace begins to emerge because you're no longer immersed in the waters of thought and emotion. You're now the observer of them. And that begins you to move. Your move from the external world begins then. And as you get centered in being the awareness, observing as you get to that place. Now, the inner, the place where it is quiet and still, begins to become available to you in that place of stillness, of quiet. As you get closer to that, and the pleadings of your mind and your memory and your emotions and your thoughts, as the pleadings of those no longer hold you to them, and you surrender yourself to silence, you begin to reconnect to these inner faculties of clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, claircognizance, these inner faculties that you, as awareness, possess that allow you to comprehend and apprehend time, space, matter, and experience very differently than you do through your 5 physical senses. And that place where you transition from the external distractions of the world to the internal silence of being gives you the position where you can now look at both sides, the external and the internal. And in the internal, you may see without eyes and hear without ears and know without the senses telling you, and feel very differently. But your transition begins first with recognizing that your thoughts, your memories, your emotions are of the world, and that you are simply experiencing being in the world through that physical instrument in which you find yourself. And as you transition to that awareness that those are thoughts that I have, those are emotions that I have, they are memories that I have, but I am not them. They're experiences I've acquired while living in the body that I'm currently inhabiting, but they are not who I am. And you transition away from being subjective to those thoughts, to those memories, to those emotions, and in the objectivity that begins to emerge in this process, in that objectivity, you begin to feel freedom. If you even consider for a moment that your thoughts are just information that you have acquired, that awareness alone will begin a slight shift away from subjectivity to the physical experiences of time and space that you've garnered, not just from the lifetime you're in, but from many others as well. You've had many lifetimes. Many of you have. But to understand and comprehend the mysteries that you seek to understand and comprehend, you cannot comprehend them with only one part of your consciousness in operation, that of the external world. You need also the consciousness of your internal world, these invisible senses that are perceivable and experiential by you as awareness, but which your senses do not understand, for they are of the world. And you use that body to comprehend and apprehend what is going around in this world. But you do not need them for other purposes that are not of this world. There are elements of consciousness that will become available to you as you begin to surrender your subjectivity to thought, to memory, to emotion. Not to get rid of them. You will never have the experiential condition of the body and the personality you currently have ever again. It will only be this one experience of that personality that will change as if you went to a store to get a new set of clothing. When you come out, you will appear to be completely different in another lifetime. And when you throw the old clothes out, you do not look back at them. You do not look back at the garments you wore as a 3-year-old or a 7-year-old and say, oh, I would like to wear those again. You cannot wear what has already been worn. And so you change your conditions of time, space, and matter as you evolve your consciousness. It is much better to do so when you know you are doing this. Then there is no fear. But my only goal in coming through this one today was simple. To remind you that you have freedom at your disposal in the movement of your consciousness into that inner place, away from the distractions of thought, of memory, of emotion, of sight, sound, touch, taste, smell. Not to divest yourself of those, but to allow yourself to be independent of them as an awareness. And in that independence, you will find freedom. You would call that Independence Day. When you are free of subjectivity to your thoughts, to your emotions, to your memories, then you have found Independence Day. That is truly Independence Day. And then in that place where you are free of your so-called pain and suffering and your fears and your angers and your sadness, and when you are free of them, a very different life begins to unfold and emerge for you. But quite simply, to restore these inner senses which you were born with, which you possess, can never be divested of. These will be with you for all of your expressions in time and space. But they must be reawakened for some of you. For some of you, not so much. You have already awakened them. But to restore them, you must first begin this process of going back within to the invisible realm, to the realm not of this world, but part of it. You cannot separate the realm of the visible and the invisible, but they do function independent of each other. But like the fingers on your hand, they cooperate with each other when they are fully understood and articulated. When you can articulate the inner senses in relation to the outer senses, you will live a life that's most extraordinary. But that process of cultivating the reawakening of those senses is essential for that process. Well now, thank you, Hermes. I'm going to get another device here that will let me see some of the questions. Thank you so much, my darling. Hello, everybody, and welcome. I'm going to be looking at a handheld device today because I have to figure out why this other device is not signing in. Good morning. Hello, Allison. Hello, Drusilla. Hello, One Love. Oh, lovely. Hope you're new to this. If you're new to this channel, remember to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it. You got any questions or concerns about the comments that you've heard today? Please leave a comment in the comment section below the video. Hello. A question from Lauren. No questions today? Yes, there will be questions today, Lauren. Hi, Sophia. Thank you for that super chat. I really appreciate it. I might actually be able to see the questions up there, if you don't mind the light reflecting in my eyes. That's great. Question from Manoj. Please ask Jesus if he would like to give me a message or guidance. Thank you. It's funny you're saying that. He's coming into my face and he's putting a hand. He's smiling, a big smile, and he's doing this. He's saying, and the words, fear not, my dear one, fear not. It's a time for you to sit and be as the tree in stillness. Yes. But he's emphasizing this. And literally sit beneath the tree and be as the tree in stillness. Great question, Manoj. Thank you for that. Question from Sophia. How can my fluorite sphere assist me in my clairvoyance? I'm being told that you need to actually place it on the very high point of the atlas joint at the back of the neck. That's the knobby joint at the back of your neck. Place the fluorite there Go to a tree. Place the fluorite between that joint and a tree. You may remain standing so the energy from the earth will connect as well through your feet. So you'll have bare feet. Put the fluorite there on the atlas joint and lean to the tree. So the fluorite is suspended between your atlas joint and the tree, and you've got bare feet on. And let the body relax as much as you can allow it to relax. These are fairies that are telling you this right now. That are saying this is how that fluorite will help you to do that. But it's at the atlas joint. And make certain that the knees are not rigid. Make sure the knees are slightly bent, but the feet must be bare on the ground. It is not necessary to lean anything other than the atlas joint and the fluorite against the tree. But keep the knees slightly bent and the feet bare on the floor. They said, look to the space behind the front of your skull. Watch in that space to see. Wow, that's really cool. I like that one. Thank you, Sophia. That's really cool. Question from One Love. My question is, Hermes or God Thoth guiding me to his teachings. Any guidance on this or message for me? Thank you. He's saying, if you have heard, then you have heard. If you've not heard, then you have not heard. But listen carefully to these words. For the outer and the inner must be in balance for you to know the thing that you know that you know. You are distracted by one or the other, but you must be in balance between the two. Yes. There's a gray stone. There's a big gray stone. He says, go to the stone and place your sacrum on the stone. It's a big gray stone. I'm just seeing it coming out of the side of a hill. But he's saying it's a big gray stone. Go there. A lot of people don't know about how the earth can recalibrate and rebalance our energy and our energy chakras. But he's saying let the light rise up from within. And he's meaning the sacrum. You got a lot of energy. He's saying you got a lot of psychic energy trapped in your sacrum. You need to release that. The sitting on the stone will help that. But he said, pay attention to the light rising from there. Oh, I just felt that. That was really cool. Thank you. Question from Lauren. He's saying, I just gave you one, dear one. What more would you like? If you have heard, then you have heard. If you have not, then listen again. So beautiful. Question from Vertical. We gave a large personal loan to a relative who never was willing to pay it back. A lot of time has passed. Will legal steps help rescue the funds? I don't know who this is, but they're saying, do not distract yourself with what was, for if you are looking behind you, you may trip and fall. Look forward to the great joy and delight. Look forward to the great joy and delight. Not back anymore. Look forward to great joy and delight. Wow. Wow, thank you so much for that. I think we got time for one more question here. Thank you for that, by the way, Vertical. It's so important. When you give from your heart. When you give from your heart. You know, it's so important to be able to give without expectation. It's nature. Nature does that all the time. The orange tree doesn't say, I'm only going to grow oranges for that person and not that person. It grows oranges for everybody who can reach the branches, right? Right? Do you want to be an orange tree, or do you want to be the one waiting for the oranges? Become an orange tree. Question from SJK. Even though you say your memories are not you, I struggle with that because I feel bad about mistakes I made. Thank you so much, SJK. This is so important. There's so, yeah, I understand. Hang on. A whole bunch of beings coming in all at once here. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Your past must be released. You must surrender the emotions of your past remove them from your house. Do not let your body command authority over you. Do not let your thoughts command authority over you. You are the master of the house. Do not let the servants run it, for they will run it as they run it, not as the master, but as the servants. You wish to be relieved of your suffering, then relieve yourself of suffering. And I would encourage you to do it thusly. When such suffering comes to your awareness and you realize there is a wailing and a gnashing of teeth within you, you must say to that within you, be still, I am with you. Be still, I am with you. Be still, I am with you. And the house will listen to the master's voice. The house in which you live, that body, that mind, will listen when you speak as the master. Wow. Thank you so much. For those of you that are registered in our Mediumship Masterclass 101, welcome. I'm looking forward to seeing you at 4 p.m. for the live event. For anybody who wants to support this channel, you go to my Patreon page, patreon.com/William Michael Forbes. If you want to know more about what we do and the events we're evolving, you go to my website, WilliamMichaelForbes.com, and check out some of the things that are occurring. We've got a beautiful program coming up in about 4 or 5 weeks' time. Our Masterclass 102, which is the intermediate level program for mediumship and mental and emotional mastery. So I hope that you'll go to the course wall and enroll now, because our 102 Masterclass is one of our most exciting and powerful programs. I hope you'll join us there. This coming Wednesday, July the 13th, Transforming Your Depression. And that's with the Ascended. I'm really excited about this one. Transforming Your Depression. And I'm told there's going to be some kind of a meditation in there on Wednesday. And that's never happened before, where they want to do a meditation during the week. So I'm really excited about that. So bring your depression to us on a Wednesday. So if you're suffering from depression or anything like that, bring yourself to this on Wednesday. Come join us on Wednesday the 13th. And you're going to be blown away by how you as awareness can alter and change the energy in your mind and body. Anyway, join us with the Ascended, which is a collective of Ascended Masters from many dimensions and many different planetary systems that collectively work together. So come and join us for that. Friday, July the 15th, Where is Love? And this is going to be with Master Jesus this coming Friday. So please join us for that. Master Jesus, where is love? Because everybody's asking that question, right? Where are we going to find peace? Where are we going to find love? Well, you're going to hear it from the Master's mouth. And I can tell you as a truth, you'll be pleasantly surprised with his answer. And as always, I can feel his presence with us right now. And there's a consensus between all of these beings that are around us and working with us during this time of ascension in the human collective unconsciousness that all say one thing in common. The healing is within. The transformation occurs within by your own hand. Not by the hand of another, but by your own hand. And the hand is a metaphor for your consciousness, your awareness, the capacity that you have as an awareness to transform and change and alter your mind, your emotions, your body, and access internal resources, invisible realms of information that you can bring into this physical dimension for creation. So I hope you'll join us for these other 2 events this week. I want to say thank you to everybody for showing up today and for being patient for my technical glitch. That will be corrected before the weekend. And again, much love to all of you. Want to wish you a wonderful and a joyful day. Have yourselves a great day. Bye for now.